Okay, so what we've got here is a current balance, which literally balances. So what we're going to do is use leverage to get some very, very delicate readings if we wanted to. So what I'm going to do is just try and even this up, so I've got a little bit of extra weight on one side, so I'm going to use that to try and keep it level. That was, see, that's how delicate it is. I'll make it about 6mm. Let's try that. It's still a little bit heavy on one side. So what the point of this is that you can use really small currents to actually find out and investigate the effect of magnetic fields. So we may do this as part of our experiment, which you'll find out. So here I've got my magnet, horseshoe magnet, and I'm going to put it on this side. But there we go. Right, okay, so that's pretty good. So if I take that away, what I can do is I can use that as a guide. So I'm near enough level, you can't see it because you're at an angle, but you can't, we've got a level pointer pointing at this point at my white line. Now, if I just turn everything off, we have, even now, a tiny milliamp current, so that's 1.2 milliamps going through at the moment. If I increase very roughly the voltage, let's put a little bit of kick on there we go, we get a massive kick. Okay, now that's 3.5 volts. I'm going to drop that right down off the top of the scale, so I can use my fine control on the power pack. There we go, 300 milliamps, and I can adjust this ever so finely. See how, you know, tiny amounts of difference going from 80 up to 100. Drop it down to 30 milliamps. So we're using a very, very small effect. Obviously, if I use my left hand rule, I swap the direction of my field, then I should get the opposite effect. So put that through there, and again turn the current up, then again I'm starting to get a lift as this is being pushed down. So current is flowing in and splitting two ways, but there's nothing happening on the near side, it's only on this far side where you're getting this change. Okay, so much more delicate. So again 60, okay, down to 13, and the effect starts to be noticed there. So 6 or 7 fat fingers going on there, you know, 6, 7, maybe 10 milliamps, and we're starting to get a really delicate balance. Okay, basically double the length of the magnetic field, or rather double the length of the conductor in the magnetic field. It's actually slightly more than double because they won't go together because of their force. But again, if I adjust that, you can see a much bigger effect. So that's only 130, and it's just catapulted out of the way. Okay, so much more sensitive. How? Just change the B, or change the I, or change the L. Okay, so I haven't made this any more, the flux any more dense here, I've just made a bigger length of it. Okay, what I can do to change the flux density is change the size of the field. Let's do that next. Okay, I've now put two magnets on top of each other, so the gap between them is closer. I've actually got more magnetism as well, so I'm going to have increased the field. Won't have doubled or anything as simple as that, but as soon as I turn that on again, what you should find, although it's shorter, because I've got it more intense, again, I'll get a fairly large measurable effect. There we go, we're getting a big kick. Again, only at about 70 or 80 milliamps. Okay, so we can do a lot of investigations with this. Okay, here we have a simple DC motor. I've got the permanent magnetic field there. And what I've got is the armatures in the middle. I've actually got as 3 armatures, so rather than a single core, electromagnet that runs across the middle, I've got 3, so we don't end up with a dead patch. But illustrative purposes, I just want to show you how the basics of it run. So I've got my coils here. If I put electricity in through those contacts in the bottom, then I'll get electric current flowing through, I'll get a magnet, and then I'm going to get it fighting against the magnetic field of that. So if I just turn it on and give it a little whirl, then there we go, we've got motion. If we turn up the voltage, then obviously we go faster and faster. Now, I don't need to use that. Most most motors aren't really like this. What they tend to do in real life, as we slide that across, is we've got an electromagnet here. So rather than a permanent magnet, I've just got one running simply off a 1.5 volt battery. Now in real life that would tend to be an adjustable one. I'll say why in a second. But if I use the same core and I put that in, okay, let's just put that into the same thing. So we've got our armature there. Let's just check it. There we go, it's fitting better. And I change the supply across the armature. And turn it on. You can see much bigger effect because we can use electricity to create a much bigger electromagnet. Just going to turn that right down. Okay. It actually makes it more finely controlled as well. And more importantly, down here we'll get sparking where you've got your contacts, where your slip rings, the half ring commutator will be making contact and breaking contact. That causes problems. So if we can just connect a continuous supply and adjust it with the magnet, then you actually get a much better, more controllable motor.